Hello everybody, good morning, welcome to That's Football. This is your latest transfer news and there's a lot to get on to, especially in the midfield, the place where games are won and lost, the old cliche, games are won in the midfield, and it's certainly an area that Chelsea and Liverpool are looking to strengthen. We're going to be talking Caicedo and Lavia. These are two deals that have been mentioned a lot in recent weeks, but there seems to be development with one and a handbrake with the other. We're going to start off with Lavia. Numerous reports this morning that he's agreed to join Liverpool. This is his choice. He's given it the green light. He's done his personal terms and Liverpool will now negotiate with Southampton. This is a significant step forward. We've been talking about this on the channel for weeks now that I said I think he'll go to Liverpool. I think it's logical. I think with Liverpool, you can sometimes read their transfer business. They're very efficient when they decide what they're going to go for. There's always been a risk of Chelsea. There's always been a risk of Liverpool, of Arsenal. But look, it looks like Liverpool are going to get this deal done. Sky Germany, a few other European correspondents, a couple of UK journalists as well, all saying that yes, this is the player that Liverpool will sign, and it's the player that Liverpool that wants to join Liverpool. 19 years of age. It's probably going to cost them around 40 million quid. They're going to make a lot of money from Fabinho and Henderson, so for me it's a no-brainer. I heard somebody at the weekend, and I forget where it was, saying that Jurgen Klopp's an idiot for letting Fabinho and Henderson go with all their experience. I think he's a genius. I think it's the right thing to do, and I've said this about Klopp before. The parallels between Klopp and Sir Alex Ferguson may not be crystal clear, but there are parallels. And I know they're big rivals, but you can still learn from success. And I think Klopp has. I think he knows that if he's going to stay at Liverpool, he's got to rebuild a team. And Sir Alex Ferguson was the master of that. And to rebuild that team, you've got to rebuild that midfield. And to rebuild that midfield, you've got to be ruthless. So the removal of Fabinho and Henderson, who are getting older and weren't good enough last year, well, they're not leaders, are they, when they're not good enough? So he's got to reshape that midfield. And I think with McAllister, Szoboszlai, and now bringing in Lavia, they do that. So expect that deal to get done. Liverpool are normally quite quick. And if all these reports are suggested to be true, then it should get done reasonably quickly. Of course, 19 years of age, it's a big step up at Liverpool. You wouldn't expect him to go straight into the team, but we've seen in the past what Jurgen Klopp can do. So an exciting deal for Liverpool fans there that would completely remodel their midfield with 3 signings. One midfield signing that, look, Chelsea might move to Lavia based on what I'm about to talk about, but can Chelsea beat Liverpool? I mean, if Lavia chooses Chelsea over Liverpool, you've got to question what his motives are, really, because right here, right now, Liverpool is the better choice. Klopp is the better manager. Liverpool have got the better side. They've got the better chances of winning things. Chelsea will hope they can do that, but I think even the most strongest Chelsea fan would say that right now they're a bit of an uncertain package, and it's certainly a very uncertain. I suppose the Moises Caicedo transfer reflects Chelsea's uncertainty. This is a deal that's been Chelsea's deal to do for coming up for must be 2.5 months now. Certainly 2 months. And the latest on this is that there is a standstill. Brighton have been adamant that they want around £100 million. Chelsea have been looking to do a deal for around £70 million. Brighton have said, well, if it's £70 million, we want Colwill as well. There may not be a willingness from Colwill to go to Brighton. We don't know about that, but there's certainly not a willingness from Chelsea to sell a player that could and does look like being one of the best left-sided centre-backs England have produced in years. So it puts Chelsea at a real standstill. And of course, Brighton do have European football. Chelsea don't. Chelsea are a bigger club than Brighton. I think everyone can accept that. But are they a better club than Brighton right now? Now, Caicedo wants to go to Chelsea, but he's under contract with Brighton, who don't need to sell. I think from Brighton's point of view, they're right to hold out for the price they want. They've just got to manage the situation delicately, because you don't want a player that's basically, unhappy and wanting to go on strike. And Caicedo needs to understand that Chelsea can't just flex big boy muscles and say, we're Chelsea, we want him and we'll hold out. I would imagine a deal will get done at some point, but the closer you get to the season, the less it helps either side. Chelsea need him integrated in pre-season, and Brighton would need to integrate a replacement, regardless of how much money they get. So it's odd, because Chelsea have thrown stupid money at silly players, in my opinion, for the last 12 months. It now looks like they're trying to be responsible, but you can't just flick a switch on that. And also, Declan Rice went to Arsenal for 100 million. So I think Brighton's stance is, you paid silly money in the past, very recently in January. Rice has just gone to Arsenal for 100 million pounds. we want around that. So standstill at the moment. Which way will it go? Let us know in the chat. Another standstill is Bernardo Silva. We had Fabrizio on the show yesterday talking to Will. Really interesting stuff and updates there. I mean, Manchester City may not be box office in relation to interest. No one really pays any interest to them. But the removal of Gundogan, potentially Kyle Walker, Mahrez going as well. And if Bernardo Silva went, I think then there is a vulnerability to Manchester City. I mean, they'll probably go and win the treble again because that's just what they do. But I've nearly just crushed my fucking hell. You know what? I've got this bit of table here and my knee's there. And as I moved my hand through, my knee went up and I've literally just drawn blood. You know, there's a time in my past where I'd be punching the table now, which is just complete and utter out of control frustration and aggression. You shouldn't do that. You'll just hurt your hand. But that is painful. It has took the skin off. I mean, it's not like casualty. I'm not going to appear on casualty. In fact, I don't think it's even going to bleed, but it has took a layer of skin off. It was very painful. Anyway, Bernardo Silva, if he stays at Manchester City, I think he's such an important player for them. And if he was to leave, then I think it would be, you know, quite big for Manchester City to lose Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan. So if Bernardo Silva stays, which is apparently what Man City are going to push for because Barcelona don't think they can get him, then that's a big boost for them as well. I still think Man City will get that Vardiel deal done, Kovacic done. But you know what? Man City fans will moan, but how do you ever change this? You've won the treble, you've won the league 3 years in a row, you're probably going to do it again next year. But there's never really much buzz around your club. How do you generate that buzz? I've been saying this for years, and they take it the wrong way, but it's so true. Arsenal do a deal. Liverpool, we've spoken about them. Chelsea, obviously Man United. There is not much of a buzz around Man City. There never is. And I don't know how you change that. I don't know whether they care about changing that. But even winning things, it just doesn't... There's never any real buzz about what Man City do. Just a little bit of thing. Inter Milan apparently are interested in replacing Onana with Martinez from Aston Villa. Aston Villa would be ridiculous to do that. Martinez is one of the best goalkeepers in Europe, in my opinion. Argentina don't win a World Cup if it's not for him. But what I would say is it's been quite well rumoured for a while now that Emery is not a huge fan of Martinez, but he'd be wildly... naive and silly to remove Martinez. I think he's such an important player for them. There's a lot of stuff going on around Chelsea selling players as well. Fabrizio Romano has been talking about Conor Gallagher going to West Ham for 40 million. There's been talk about Ward-Prowse as well, so keep an eye on those sort of things. But look, things are starting to hot up. Players are on tour, as we know, and there will be a lot more activity in the coming weeks. I think August is going to be a big month, and I don't think that's ideal for everybody. But I think what happens is, look, the best time to get a deal done is the start of July. They go on tour, they play some pre-season games, they get used to the manager, they get used to the coaches, they get used to their fellow players. You know, you're all ready for the start of the season, and I think that will be beneficial for Arsenal. But you look at someone like Chelsea and you go, well, look, you've still got a lot of business to do. You've got players going out, players coming in. You know, it will be very, very difficult for Chelsea to hit the ground running. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. And there are other clubs in that situation. But unfortunately, the market dictates. And it can be quite like a domino effect. You've got Caicedo, you've got Harry Kane. There are, you know, potentially Harry Maguire. There's a few others that probably will move, but might not move until mid-August, late August, in which case you're already playing games. So this can have a big impact on the start of the season. But it's how it is. It's business against football, isn't it? What's best for the football manager isn't necessarily for the football club, and when they want a few £1 million in their pocket. But I expect to see a lot more deals happening over the next 6 weeks. But that Lavia deal, I think Liverpool do try to be efficient, and I think they'll get it done quickly. Get your comments in below. Make sure you smash a like on the video, and please do subscribe. We're on the road to 1 million. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'll speak to you on the next one.